for inviting me in this program and interacting with the students. So let me provide you the basics of what I am currently doing in my industry, that is SaaS. So I am basically involved as a specialist, optimization specialist, and working in the field of supply chain management. I think you all have heard somewhere about the supply chain. Recently, our Honorable Prime Minister has addressed the supply chain issues in India in many of his, when he addresses the nation, he coined this term many times. So I hope you all have, once in a life, have heard the term supply chain. But in this presentation, which I will be giving now, there we will be see more about the supply chain, and I will try to provide you how you can try to think to build your career in the field of supply chain management. Okay, so before wasting any further time, let me get started. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
No, it is not visible.
Okay. Is it now visible?
No, Himanshu, it is not visible.
Okay, let me try again.
Sachin sir,
Himanshu sir,
please help.
I think he is disconnected.
I'm extremely sorry, I got disconnected. Let me try again.
Himanshu sir, kindly send me your PPT in my mail so I can share you. Hello, Himanshu sir,
Hello.
have you got the option?
Yes, I've got the option. I've got the option. I'm just wondering, I've shared my screen, but why it is not visible? Is it visible now?
No.
No, Himanshu, it is not visible.
Himanshu sir, send me your PPT in my mail so I can share it.
Okay, let me do that.
Or you can rejoin again.
Yeah.
Send the PPT to Sachin and join again. Sanjana, in the meantime, do the announcements once again. Sanjana, are you there?
करना मेल व्हाट्सएप कुछ भी कर दो। क्या मेल किस मेल आईडी पे किया है? मेल तो आया नहीं। अच्छा आ गया आ गया आ गया आ गया आ गया। पहले मैं पीपीटी डाउनलोड कर लेता हूँ। ये शेयर कैसे नहीं हो रहा?
able to utilize this equation in certain cases where this equation may not be exactly.
We request all the participants to mute their mics.
डाउनलोड भी पता नहीं होता है चीजें। हाँ हिमांशु Bhavna ma'am, kindly check now screen is getting shared.
Yes, sir, it is there. Screen is visible.
Okay, okay. Himanshu sir?
It is visible to me as well.
Okay, then you can continue. Sunita Raina, please stop to sharing screen.
I request all participants not to share their screen. I request all participants not to share their screen.
Okay, Himanshu sir, now it can be start.
I request Himanshu to switch on your video.
My video is switched on. Hello.
Sachin sir, kindly share his PPT.
I have already shared, ma'am.
Sachin, can you please share it? In the. Actually, I am getting some other view of this PPT. Can you open in presentation mode?
Yeah, okay. Now you can see it.
Yes, it is visible.
Sachin sir, you kindly start the slideshow.
Okay, I will start it now. Now it is okay?
Yeah.
Yes, it is okay.
Himanshu sir?
Yes, it is okay now.
Okay, now please.
Yeah. Sorry guys for this small interruptions. Actually, I foresee there is some problem in sharing the screen. My Sachin has not given me full rights for this. I think I have got only rights to view and for video and audio, not for sharing. That's what I guess what is happening here. But anyway, the things got resolved. So Sachin is sharing this, and the topic which I want to introduce to you is analytics in supply chain. So myself, Himanshu Srivastava. Sachin has given a very nice introduction of mine, so I don't guess I need to go on this. So let's go further on topic. Sachin, can you have next slide, please?
Yeah.
So what's the agenda? What are we seeing in the entire presentation of next 1.5 hours? So we will mainly see what is supply chain. So that is the fundamental thing which I want to introduce to you guys. And then we will see what are the challenges in supply chain, why supply chain is so tough. So normally to come up with these challenges, we do many planning. So we undergo various planning in supply chains. we'll see what kind of plannings that normally happen in the supply chain. And then while we plan, there are some conflicts happen between two decisions, what we are taking while planning. So we'll see what the commonly conflicts happen while planning for a supply chain. Now, if the conflicts happen, how to resolve it? There analytics comes into picture. And we will see why it is needed, how it can improve the conflicts, or how we can get rid of these conflicts. Then we'll see some supply chain analytics examples and some of the examples which I have implemented for my clients, and I will show one part of it, that how we have implemented here for our clients. Then we'll see some technologies that are implemented in supply chain to make supply chain better performance. And lastly, if the time permits, I will try to provide one real case example of a milk supply chain. I think that's all we are going to cover here. And one thing I would like to mention to you, that make this session interactive so that we both can have equal output from this presentation. Please feel free to ask questions whenever you like. And please feel free to interrupt me as well. So I want this session to be interactive. Okay, so what is supply chain? One of the basic, and by the way, I'm assuming you all are BTech guys, and some of the MTech and some professors are there. So I'm assuming that there is a very little knowledge in the supply chain domain, and I want to introduce them. So I'm starting with a very layman definition. What is a supply chain? So when it comes to a layman definition, the definition is, Sachin.
Yes, sir. Hello. Mansu sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I got disconnected for a while. Okay. So supply chain consists of all parties involved, directly or indirectly, in fulfilling a customer's request. Whenever we all go for shopping. Okay. Suppose one person go to buy a jeans in a shop. He just go to a shopkeeper, pay some money to him or her, and buy a jeans, a shirt, or whatever he or she may like. And we come back home. But we never thought of that what is the complete process from manufacturing or from sourcing of that jeans to reaching to a customer. So there is a lot of complexity involved in it. If we consider all those things, it will consider a supply chain. So right from producing of the product, from consuming of this product, that consists of supply chain. Sachin? So a supply chain consists of system of suppliers, manufacturers, transportation, distributors, vendors, and all the parties which convert that raw materials to a finished products. All these are considered as a supply chain. Okay, so this is one of the basic layman definition. From picture, it is a supply chain picture. I think it will give a concrete idea. So if you see supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, and finally customer.
It is not visible, sir.
Sorry, I think Umar has some
It's
concern.
visible.
Sir, screen is visible. Umar, you can check your internet connection. It is visible.
Okay.
You can continue.
Okay. So So you can see supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, customer. That's how the product flows from supplier. Suppliers procures the raw materials, manufacturers converts that manufacturing that raw materials into the product, which in your case it is jeans, and from manufacturers it goes to distributor, which we call as distribution center in layman language. In the corporate world, we call it as DC. And from DC it goes to retailer, and from retailer it goes to customer. So it is called as the material is flowing from upstream to downstream. The customer is the downstream and the supplier is the most upstream. So that's how the product flows from upstream to downstream in a supply chain. Now, what is the main aim, Sachin? What is the main aim of a supply chain? Obviously, retailer is unaware about how much actual quantity or what is the actual demand the retailer is going to face in the coming month or in a coming week. Okay, so that the demand is completely uncertain, right? Also, in a supplier side, the supplier is also unaware of how much raw material they have the availability for the next 1 week. The supply is somewhat is also uncertain. Now, the aim of the supply chain is to match the demand and supply. That is one of the basic aim of any supply chain management. Why this happens? Suppose if the retailer has a right amount of product at right price, and at the right store at right quantity. Right quantity, what I am saying right quantity, suppose the retailer faces the demand of 100 jeans in next week, but it is having only 80 jeans. So the 20 quantity is lost for him. Now, if the retailer overstocks jeans, like if it is going to face 100 quantity of jeans in next week, and the retailer is having 120 of the materials, 120 of jeans, the 20 is the overstock for him. That is also not good. We'll see all these things, why it is good, why it is not good in a supply chain. And at the right time. Also, the product should be available when it is demanded. Then a firm can make a higher profit. So that is the aim, the supply and demand should match. Okay, now let's see the next. So the previous one, the structure, what we have seen is a very simple one, but in a real world, it's not that simple. We have some complex supply chain system. We have an integrated supply chain system, what we call it as. We have the multiple suppliers, we have multiple warehouses, we have multiple DCs, and we have many demand points. So likewise, there are the many costs incurred in a supply chain. As you can see here, there is a production cost, there is an inventory cost. What is inventory cost? Whenever you are stocking the material in your warehouse or in your DC, there is a cost incurred in it for handling those materials. Now, it's not like that the firm is just stocking 20 units, 30 units of material. They are stocking tons of units, thousands and lakhs of units. So it incurs a huge cost for the firm. And believe me guys, this inventory cost is a huge burden for in any firm. The firms are deliberately trying to decrease their inventory. So this is, and now there is obviously transportation cost, which is also one of the major costs happens incurred in a supply chain. Now, if the firm manages to reduce all this cost, what is the mention here? By the way, there are some of the costs, there are the other costs, the manpower cost, the facility handling costs, but the majority of costs constitute of these. Now, if the firm manages to control this operational cost, what the cost mentioned here, they can earn a high amount of profit from the customer. There are a lot of benefits the firm can gain if they manage, if they control, if they manage all these things properly. Okay, Sachin. Now, as we have seen in the earlier slide, that the product flows from supplier to customer, from upstream to downstream. So there is another thing also flows from supplier to customer and customer to supplier. That is information. Now, how the information is flowing from supplier to customer? Now the supplier is flowing some information to the manufacturer, or from manufacturer to DC and DC to customer. In response, customer is providing some feedback to retailer, retailer to DC, DC to manufacturer, manufacturer to supplier. There is a flow of information, and the funds flow from customer to supplier. So this is a basic mechanism that happens in every supply chain, whether it's a complex, it's a simple. So these things we need to keep in mind, that materials flow from supplier to customer and funds flow from customer to supplier, and information flows in both the direction, from supplier to customer and customer to supplier, that is from upstream to downstream and downstream to upstream. Okay, any questions up to here? Okay, great. Now I would like to provide some real life examples how the supply chain of National Semiconductor is. The National Semiconductor is a multinational company with headquarters in US. They produce chips in 6 different locations. 4 are in US, 1 in Britain, and 1 in Israel. They have the global operations across the world. Now chips are shipped to assembly locations in Southeast Asia, and then they have the distribution mechanism. The final product is shipped to all over the world. That is, they have the distribution systems through 20,000 different routes. 12 different airlines are involved, and 95% of the products are delivered within 45 days, and 5% are delivered within 90 days. So what the concern of this National Semiconductor, the company is, they just want to reduce this delivery time. That is, there still 95% of products are delivered within 45 days. Now, if they can reduce this, they can achieve a greater efficiency in the supply chain. So this is one of the concerns in National Semiconductors. There are other concerns as well. So this is one which I know, so I have highlighted this. Okay, that is just an example. Now, in a typical manufacturing firm, there are many costs. If you bifurcate those costs, but by the way, this is a rough calculation, this is not an exact, just to provide an idea how much, how this logistic cost and the supply chain costs are incurred while delivering a product to customer. The manufacturing cost is 48%. The marketing, and there are some miscellaneous costs here, which is 27%. The only supply chain cost, the logistic cost, is 21%, which is huge. If the firm manages to reduce this cost from 21%, they will provide many benefits to their customer. And the profit finally, the firm is getting is 4%. So this how is just, that is not a concrete example, just to provide an idea how this logistic cost. But if you take an average in most of the manufacturing industry, it comes out to be around 21% approximately. Now, let us see some examples how the magnitude of supply chain, how it affects the industry. Compaq is a laptop manufacturing company. They have lost around $0.5 billion to $1 billion in sale, just because it is not available when it is demanded. That is a huge loss. I mean, when the demand comes, they are not able to meet the demand. That is because they are unable to match the supply and demand criteria of supply chain. In industrial language, in industry, we call it as a stock out. The stock out cost is heavy for the compact, and they have had a huge loss in their sales. So this is, by the way, I'm putting these three examples. There are many examples here, but these are the classical examples widely quoted in supply chain domain. Similarly, it's not that always the firms always bears a loss. When it's the famous example of Procter and Gamble, they have managed the supply chain so well that they have saved 65. Oh, sorry, it's the previous one, Sajid. They have saved 55 million in 18 months by matching the supply and demand in a better way. Now, another example is from Boeing aircraft. So it is one of the leading aircraft company in US, and they have to loss of $2.6 billion just because of the raw material shortage and some internal shortages happened while manufacturing. So this is all to demonstrate what the inefficiency in supply chain happens. Next. Now, in 2000, US companies spent $1 trillion just in the supply chain activities. That is in movement, that is in transportation, in storage, in inventory handling. They just spent $1 trillion. Likewise, you can see here the inefficient logistics, the low order fill rates, the high stock out cost, high landed costs to the shelf, frequent supplies shortages. These all are the frequent in any supply chain if it is not managed properly. So eliminating the inefficiencies can save millions of dollars per firm. Okay? Any question? Okay, good. Yeah. Next slide, Sachin. Now, in a supply chain, so because of those inefficiencies, supply chain management comes in a picture. Now, if you manage those inefficiencies, you can save millions of dollars to firms or to your clients to whom you are providing your consulting, or to your own firm as well. So minimizing supply chain cost, what the supply chain management achieve while keeping a reasonable service level, customer satisfaction, on-time deliveries, and there are many other parameters. And this is how supply chain management contributes to the bottom line. Remember, it's not a strict cost reduction paradigm. I mean, you should not be thinking only from the cost perspective. It depends on what's the vision of this or what's the mission of the company. If the company wants 100% customer satisfaction, they don't want any customer to be unhappy. They want to give full service to the customers. Then it might be possible that they have to compromise in some of the product because their objective is customer satisfaction. while the other firms, they want to manage a balance between customer satisfaction and profit. There is always a trade-off between customer satisfaction and profit. There are many research to show that there is a trade-off between customer satisfaction and profit. Now, if the firm manages their supply chain well, they can have a balance between customer satisfaction and the profit. We'll see this as we move further. Now, we know that there could be inefficiencies in supply chain. So, we need to manage the supply chain. The management of supply chain is required. And how to manage the supply chain? What is the goal of managing a supply chain? The primary goal is that the right quantity should be available at right location at right time. Now you have to manage your warehouse, you have to manage your transportation, you have to manage your suppliers, you have to manage your everything, entire, so that you achieve these things, that the product is available at the right quantity, in right location, at right time. Now, the another thing, the challenging thing comes into picture, that there is a cost, right? Such that the operating cost, now in order to maintain these three objectives, right quantity at right location, right time, we cannot increase the number of facilities, right? If I increase the number of facilities, or I can open my facility near to my retailer, so that I can always fulfill the customer demands. But again, it will be a costlier task. So we have to think that the way we are adjusting our retailer, the way we are adjusting our transportation, or the way we are adjusting our warehouses, or the way we are adjusting our manufacturing plant, the adjustment is such that the total cost should be minimized. And obviously, we have to maintain a customer satisfaction, a customer service requirement should also be maintained. Now, next slide, Sachin. Now, merely saying management. Now, if someone is an intelligent guy and he keeps on tracking each and every, he keeps on tracking his entire suppliers, he keeps on tracking entire manufacturers, transportation, everything. He has the information of everything. But merely saying management is not enough. For management, there is a planning. There is a planning behind it. How to plan your supply chain. So the underlying concept of management comes from plan. If the firm has better planning, then the firm has better management. Now, the planning can be done in a supply chain in two ways. One is sequential and one is global planning. The sequential planning is something like it starts from the customer. The retailer analyzes the customer demand and constitute a demand plan from the data available from the customers. Once he estimates the demand plan, he can pass it to the distribution center, to the distribution manager, and they can have their distribution planning because they know the information of the demand, what the retailer is going to face in the coming period. Similarly, based on the distributions, they will transfer their information to manufacturers, and the manufacturers can have their production plan. And consequently, the manufacturers have the production plan, they can transfer their plans to procurement, and the procurement guys can have their procurement planning. The another one is the global plan, where all the members of the supply chain share their information in a common repository. For example, the procurement planner has the information, what the demand they are facing what the demand the retailers are going to face in the coming period, similarly manufacturing and distribution. So, what is the best planning system here? Sequential planning or the global planning?
Global.
Global, yes, very good. So can you guess what is the drawback in sequential planning?
In sequential planning, it's a static planning, whereas global one is dynamic. You can adjust to the demands and supplies according to the market, according to the choices, according to the quantity, according to the locations.
Okay, you are correct to some extent, but again, as I said, there is a trade-off. The information sharing, sharing of the information, the point of sales data, while the retailer is facing any demand and the retailer is sharing each and every information to procurement or to manufacturing or to distribution. Again, it comes a costlier task because you have to come up with a repository or you have to build a decision support systems or information systems and decision support system. I think I'm not going too much technical on this. So you can have to build subsystems that should trade off with your sequential plan. Obviously, currently most of the firms have switched their planning to global planning systems or sequential planning systems. One of the major drawbacks in sequential planning systems, I want to tell you, is in sequential planning, Sachin, can we have a next slide? Okay, so, yeah, one by one, Sachin. So, there is a customer demand, what the retailer is actually facing over the time. This is a simple graph analysis. It's not too complex. So actual customer demand over time and the volumes in the y-axis, you see how many volumes that you can say the number of units of a particular product will the retailer is going to face over a time. Now, this completes to be a kind of what you can say. We can't predict actually what the curve looks like. It is not a linear, it's not a quadratic, it does not follow anything, it's just a random curve at once. Now the actual demand, the retailer is what the retailer anticipates and what the retailer places to its warehouse. Sachin?
Yes.
So it's the retailer warehouse. In the retailer warehouse, it comes like this. One more transition. Sachin? Now what the retailer will place an order to its manufacturers. It's the retailer orders to manufacturers. And then what manufacturer, now if the retailer is placing this order, since the manufacturer is completely cut off with the actual demand faced by the retailer, what the manufacturer thinks of the sales forecast is somewhat like this. And depend on this sales forecast, how manufacturer will make its production plan. So the red curve shows the production plan of the manufacturer. Yeah, next one. So eventually what management gets, what the firm gets, the customer demand is this and the production plan is this, which is not desirable. What should actually happen? Okay. This is what actually the management wants. The production plan and the customer demand should align so that they can reduce the inventory costs, they can make the proper transportations, and they can fulfill the customer requirements. So that is one of the drawback in sequential planning. And the variability goes on increasing as we go upstream towards supply chain. Generally, this phenomena is known as bullwhip effect, which is common in a supply chain firms where they are operating in silos. I mean, where the manufacturer, where their distributors, and where the retailers do not have the proper coordination, which is most common in an Indian firms. So one of the most challenges the Indian firms is facing is the lack of coordination between retailer, manufacturer, the suppliers, and the other parties, all parties involved. They all want to operate as an individual entity. And therefore, this variability happens and resulting in high inventory, high transportation, high operational costs, less benefit to customer, and less profit to the firm. Because the global planning is a complex task. All the parties have to agree to involve in an information share. And they have to come up a decision support system where they can share their information effectively and efficiently. So that is the drawback in the sequential plan. I hope I'm clear. Now, let's come back again to planning in supply chain management. Now, when we say a planning in supply chain management, what are the things we can plan in supply chain? There are a number of decisions to be taken in a supply chain. The first one is how and when to source the product. What manufacturing strategy should be there, what transportation should be used, what distribution network the firm should follow. The supply chain is subjected to risk. There are a lot of risks are there. For example, the famous is one we all are facing is due to COVID-19. All the supply chains are, they are blocked and there are high amount of uncertainties there. How the firms manage those kind of risks. So there are a number of decisions. There are here listed a few. Obviously, how to share the information. That is how to come in a global planning platform, global information sharing platform. That's also a decision to be taken by a supply chain manager. So these are the planning. There are various planning, obviously. So what we do, we categorize those planning. Like, Sachin? Like, we categorize those planning in levels. We have strategic planning, we have tactical planning, and we have operational planning. Now, what are those planning? The strategic planning, which often concentrate on long-term goals. They are often made by the higher management, and which has a long-lasting effect in a supply chain. For example, a firm wants to open a new facility, or a firm wants to have a new distribution network. Now, opening a facility like opening a warehouse or opening a new manufacturing plant is a strategic decision because it will have a long-lasting impact and it cannot be tweaked or it cannot be changed quickly, sooner, or later. It has a long-lasting effect, or ideally I can say which has more than 8 to 10 years of effect. That planning should consider as a strategic planning, and normally higher management take this decision. The other is the firms want to increase their revenue by 10%. Now, increasing revenue is obviously those by 10% is obviously a challenging task. The higher management, the strategic planners need for a couple of months or even for years to come of how to achieve those things. If the acquisition is to be done between two companies, that's the strategic planning. So strategic planning is a long-term decision. Tactical planning is relatively a short-term decision, I can say, which has the effect of maybe 6 months to 1 year. Like what is the quarterly forecast or what is the yearly forecast of the firms? Like the forecast means how you anticipate your demand. What is the demand is going to be in the next quarter? So that comes under a tactical planning. Obviously, supplier selections, which suppliers they will confirm need to have supplying their manufacturing units. So this all comes under tactical planning. And operational planning is a very short-term planning. It's a daily basis planning, like what is the production schedule of the going to happen today, or how much inventory should be kept in a particular warehouse locations. So all these things comes under, and obviously your transportation, which routes to be followed by which truck on a particular day comes under operation planning. So planning is broadly classified in these three categories. And there are the experts, there are the senior managers who look for the strategic planning, there are mid-level managers who look after the tactical planning, and there are the junior managers who look for the operational planning. Okay? Yes. So this is a pyramid. The operational level planning, as I said, it's a daily and weekly basis, taking customer orders, having a production plan. This comes under operational planning. And tactical planning is 6 months to 1 year. And strategic planning is obviously have a long lasting effect. Okay, let's move ahead. Yeah, one by one. Now, when we say planning, obviously we plan for a lot of things. And there is a conflict between our two plans. Like I said, given the example earlier, what the firms want to have. The firms want to have high satisfaction or high profit. They want to have a full level of customer service or a higher profit. There is a trade-off. And anyone, even the firm, even the big organization, they are not ready to make trade-offs. We are not ready to make trade-offs in life. For example, you all want to see yourself as the next big startup. But the fundamental definition of any entrepreneur is the entrepreneur is one who has ability to take risk. But we want to grow our startup. We want to create our startup without taking any risk. We always search out their options where we can have our startup, but there is a zero risk. Similarly, next one. Everybody wants to go in heaven, but nobody wants to die. This is a conflict. I want to lose weight, but I don't want to control eating. This is also conflict. We are planning to lose weight, but there is a conflict that how much you have to do compromise from your eating habit. Similarly, in supply chain, the firms want to get your order delivered immediately at no additional cost. This is just one example of how the conflicts happen in supply chain. So immediately and no additional cost, these two are an important term. Now, if I want to get my order delivered, what should I do? I should have in my manufacturing plant a huge amount of products made available at the production site, and consequently at the warehouse. At my warehouse, I should have huge amount of quantity available. So whenever there is a demand, I can quickly go to the warehouse and bring back it to my demand point. But what is the drawback in this? Okay, I can meet the immediate point. I can meet the immediate criteria. I can have a huge amount of inventory in my warehouse, and I can bring it to my demand points. The drawback here is when I have thousands of inventory or lakhs and tons of inventory at my warehouse, the firm is increasing its inventory cost. At the end of the year, when they have the balance sheet, they will find they are incurring a huge cost. Though they have fulfilled the immediate criteria, but the cost is still huge. So, inventory building up cost is there immediately is fulfilled. Now, the alternate thing what the firm can do, whenever they receive the order, they give their manufacturing unit, they manufacture the product. Suppose they receive the order of 100,000 units, they give to their manufacturing plants and manufactures the 100,000 units of that product, and they deliver it to the warehouse and consequently it reaches the retailer. Okay. Here they are not incurring any high cost, but they have to compromise from the immediate condition. Correct. Now, how qualified the managers, how talented the managers. The manager need to go to manage this situation because every firm wants such kind of situation, this kind of criteria. Every firm wants this, and this is the most competitive one. I mean, the firm who can deliver immediately, and I should say at very less cost, that firm will be succeed. And here is the catch. What the catch is? It is highly impossible for a manager to do all these things with his management skills. They have to go beyond the management. What is that, Sachin? Next one. What is that? They have to build the strategies for managing such kind of situation. And strategies is the two famous strategy in maintaining a supply chain is optimization and managing uncertainty. I'm not sure how many of you have heard the term optimization and managing uncertainty. I think it's a general term. So optimization is that how immediate and how in the previous examples we have seen that the firms want immediately order to be delivered immediately at no additional cost. Now the how immediately and how much less cost can a manager provide, can a manager helps the firm in getting those objectives fulfilled. For that, the manager needs to use an optimization. And with managing uncertainty, obviously, I am focusing here on optimization for this presentation. Managing uncertainty, time permit, can take that. So, apart from the management quality, manager has to use analytics. Only that they can manage the immediate and no additional costs criteria. The firms which has these two criteria will obviously have the higher profit and provide the better service to their customer. So here the analytics comes into the picture. What is analytics? Sachin?
Yes, yes.
So analytics is the use of data, use of information technology, is use of statistical analysis, quantitative methods, mathematical optimization, mathematics and computer-based models. All these things are come up in analytics to help managers gain improved insight about their business operations and make better decisions and fact-based decisions. Now, in the present era, where we have huge quantity of data, for example, in Amazon, the per day sales of Amazon is very huge. No manager can see the Excel sheet and take the decision just by having a look at the data. They have to do some processing of the data, they have to analyze the data and come up with a useful information. Only then manager can think of managing the decisions. Just on looking at the thousand that's the in Amazon or in Flipkart or in any of these retail chains like Big Bazaar, Spencer's, they are per day they are having millions of sales. If you take the entire of the in a subcontinent, there is millions of sales of daily. So it is almost impossible to just by having a look at the data and take the decisions. They have to undergo some processing, they have to undergo some massaging of the data to come up with the useful information. Now, how analytics helps the manager? So basically, there are such in next slide. There are three types of analytics, and all these three are very necessary in managing supply chain. The first one is descriptive analytics. First, raw data is available. For example, point of sales data. And Amazon, for example, in Amazon, you can have a look of a daily sales of each product. Okay. Now, when you have a history of data, you can have a history of data. You can analyze what has happened in the past by some descriptive analytics. You can find the mean, variance, and the distributions, the how demand is distributed. What has happened in the past just by analyzing the previous data. From this descriptive analytics, there is a next concept is known as predictive analytics. What could happen in the future? From the past data, we have some mechanisms, some algorithms, which we can predict the future, what demand is going to happen in the future. For example, if a retailer is selling a milk product, and if he has a daily demand of 10, 20, and we have a history of data, we can predict what is the demand coming to tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Unlikely to do that. So predictive analytics comes in a picture here. And once we have we are going to have a demand in the future, the next thing is what action we should take to fulfill those demands. That comes in a prescriptive analytics. So what happened in the past by analyzing the past data, we predict the future. There are some algorithms, there are many algorithms, advanced algorithms available, what happened in the future, and what should we do, what action we should take if we know that this is the things likely going to be happening in the future. That is the prescriptive analytics. The next one, Sachin. So here, I'm not going into detail of this. So descriptive analytics, as I said, what happened and why. The tools used mainly here is data integration and data mining. So data mining, we gather the data, we store the data, and we analyze what has happened in the past and what is. Suppose we have seen in the month of October, November, we see there is a huge spike in sales. So we analyze why this happened. In every year, we see there is a huge spike in sales in the month of October and November of a particular product. So maybe because of the festivals, Indian festivals like Diwali and all these things, there is a spike in sales. Similarly, we can find out why there is a dip in sales just by analyzing the data. what might happen in the future. We have some machine learning algorithms through which we predict the future. There are some predictive models. Modeling we have to come up here for predictive analytics. And what should we do? What action should we do? There is an optimization models are there and some heuristics are there through which we can come up what happens, what action we should take given that this shift likely to be going to happen in future. So these kind of three analytics which supply chain managers should take the help of. Next slide, Sachin. Just an example here. Now a departmental stores, there is a departmental stores, a retail departmental store, they want to clear off their inventory. Now the best way to clear off their inventory is to offer some discount on that product. If there is a discount, then it is likely that there will be an increase in sales because of the discount. Now the question is, how much to reduce the price? If you reduce the price, hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Actually, I lost the screen for a little while. Sachin, can you make this on a presentation mode?
Hello, sir. Presentation note. You are not able to see the screen?
I'm not able to see in a presentation mode.
Let me do one. Now it is okay, sir.
Yes, now it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Only such is available.
Okay. Now, yes. So I was saying that if a firm is trying to clear off the inventory by reducing the price, okay. Now the question arises is how much the price should be reduced of that particular product, and when to reduce and how much to reduce. These are the two basic questions. They cannot go by arbitrary reducing the price. Okay, let's come on and decrease this much of price. No, there is a lot of management and there are a lot of analytics involved when any firms offering a price discount. So there is a descriptive analytics involved. They examine the historical sale of the similar products. What is the price of that product? They analyze such a next one, and then they analyze what is the sales of that product going to happen at different price, and based on that they choose on the best price, the best and the optimal price that can offer to the customer, so that the customer should also get advantage and the firm should also get advantage. So that three analytics are basically involved in the price reduction. That is just an example. Next one, Sachin. So there are various drivers of supply chain. So now we want to utilize the supply chain, the analytics application in supply chain. So there are this much drivers of the supply chain. There are many drivers, but these are considered to be important. The facilities. The facilities, I mean, when I say the facility, I mean the manufacturing plant, the warehouses, the supplying units, all this comes under the facilities. Now, where to open the facility? Because facilities have a huge operating cost. If the firms manage to control those price, to control those costs, they will definitely have a huge performance on supply chain. Like where the facility should be located, what should be the capacity of the facilities. All those are the very, very important decisions in a supply chain. Second one is inventory. I told that inventory is always a headache for any firm. No firm wants to have a huge inventory because inventory cost is very high. Transportation, information, sourcing, and pricing. These are some of the drivers of the supply chain. Can we go ahead, Sachin? Yeah. One more. Yes. Now, when you are thinking to build a career in a supply chain domain, there are various aspects where you can provide your expertise or where you can provide your consultancy related to supply chain to any firm. For example, a network design. Yes, Sachin, one more. The network design that determines the number of facilities, because firms always needs to know how much facilities they need to open for their upcoming or in the desired locations, because that involves a lot of factors, and firms always needs some external agency help, that how that external agency helps the firm in determining the number of facilities. Multi-site production sourcing, how to make their procurement plans. Yes, Sachin, next one. Okay, you can have all this. Yeah, next one more. Yeah. So these are some of the key areas which is most demanding today, and where the firms often need a consultancy help in these areas. That is how to optimize the inventory, what should be their transportation planning, what should be their production planning. So all these areas require high amount of analytics, because managers cannot just have a look at the data and try to make a decision. They have to take some technology-enabled solutions to make a decision on this strategic network design, sourcing, inventory, transportation, and production planning. So I'm going to give some details of inventory and network design in the upcoming slides. Yeah, Sachin. Next slide. Yes, as I said that where are the opportunities? These are some of the points where the opportunities with which through analytics can be improved. The first one is demand forecasting. The accurate the demand forecasting is, the accurate the other plans. Means the firms need to anticipate their demand very accurately. Now here comes the machine learning algorithms and the predictive modeling algorithms into picture. Now as a firms, as a startup, as you want to build a startup, you can go to a firm and can say that you are going to build forecasting model that will protect the forecasting of your company very accurate than the other providers. So suppose the firms have hired the agency for the demand forecasting, 3 agencies the firm has hired. Now the forecast accuracy of the firm, let's say ABC, the forecast accuracy of the agency A is 90%, the forecast accuracy of firm B is 95%, and firm C is 96%. Now you can come up with your products, with your algorithms, such that it can guarantee the firm that it will give the forecast accuracy of 99%. Then you will be the leader in entire demand forecasting agencies. So that is one of the key areas where there is a lot of opportunities to go ahead. By the way, lot of big giants are working how to improve the demand forecasting. There is warehouse design and locations. As I said that the where to locate the facility is always challenging to a firm, because locating a facility, a lot of factors are involved. Supplier evaluation, which supplier I should select, because all the suppliers have some competencies, and choosing among the best suppliers is a critical task. You can, as a startup, you can provide the firm in helping how to select the suppliers. You can come up again with algorithms where you can feed the suppliers information or suppliers supplier's data and provides the form and recommend the form that this supplier or this one supplier comes out to be best. Selection of transportation modes. You can help the forms with your algorithms, with your analytics, descriptive, predictive, and descriptive analytics. You can help the form that which transportation mode is the best for the form. So there are a lot of areas. These are few. Next one, Sachin. Okay. So actually, from this slide, I want to give you the information about the facility location. There are the demand points. Now you can see in the first graph, there are, by the way, this is the graph of United States. There are the facilities. The mesh is the mesh you see is a DC. DC is in the first graph. DC is connected to a store. Correct? In the first one, there are few DCs. In the second graph, you can see there are many distribution centers. And the blue line connecting from the center to the dot point is nothing but that's a link. So it shows that which DC is connected to which store. Correct? The second one has obviously the higher number of DCs or higher number of facilities, I should say. The first one is the lesser number of facilities. So, next one, Sachin. So, when the firms want to have a cost-saving mode, they could have the lower number of facilities. When the firm is in service offering mode, they could have higher number of DCs. But again, the service, they can service 40%, and in the second one, they can service 80% of the customer. But in the first one, they have the saving of $6 million, and the second one, they have the saving of $3 million. Now from here, the manager needs to select which one they need to choose depending upon their business requirement. As a consultant, we come up with these two things and we present to the consultant, we present to the firms and their managers that with this, you want to have a less DC, this is the optimal network, and if you want to have more DCs, but more DCs, higher service, this is the optimal network. And this is the scenario which you will be seeing in the terms of saving. That's what we as a specialist provide our service to our clients. Next one, Sachin. So this is another examples of facility locations. So you can see the manufacturing plants and the customer. The green one is customers, and the brown one is the manufacturing plants. How the manufacturing plants are connected to customers, you can see this. By the way, this is one of the real examples from one of my clients. And then how we can, so this is the baseline. This is the line which the customer is currently operating. Our client is currently operating. This is the structure of their supply chain. Now what we have presented, next one, Sachin. So from the baseline, we have presented if the manufacturing plants have open in this location and connected to the customer point like this, they can have $50 million of saving. That's a very huge saving from the baseline. So we have used the optimization analytics. We have used all those analytics and comes up to this optimized network. And we suggested to our clients to come up with this. Okay? Yeah, next one, Sachin. So you can see here the total cost and the total number of plants. So when the firm is having about total 38 plants operating, by the way, they want to take a strategic decision. The firm is realizing they are having huge operating cost in the firms. They want to reduce that, but they are unable to determine which facility need to be open and where it need to be open. So we reduce the facilities to number less comes to 23, and there comes the optimal point. We do have the option to reduce the facilities even to 8. With less than 8, we are unable to satisfy the demands of the customer. We want to have at least eight facilities open to be open for fulfilling the demand. Now you may be wondering why not we go for 8. Now when we have the 8 manufacturing plants, the another thing comes into picture is that the inventory is going to increase, which is having a huge cost. The transportation is also going to increase. The transportation cost is also going to increase. That's why you can see with the 8 plants, there is a surge in the total cost. With having the 23, we find it an optimal, where we have very less total cost. Okay? Yeah, next one. So there is one Excel example which I was intended to give, but it seems we are running out of time. So let's move on to the other topic, inventory. How we can have an inventory optimization. So inventory, we ask the following questions. How much per SKU, how many SKUs of inventory is to be needed and where it's to be needed. The objective is to have maximum service level and minimize inventory cost. Again, we have to do a lot of analytics here to achieve this. Next slide, Sachin. So, hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, Himanshu.
Yeah, I lost the screen.
Sachin.
Yes, ma'am. Wait. एक second.
I guess he is not there.
I think he is lost. This question is asked by Jitendra
Yeah,
Kumar.
okay.
He wants to know.
To focus about the household energy consumptions.
हेलो हाँ बिल्कुल कनेक्शन बंद हो गया है मैम इधर मैं वही ट्राई कर रहा हूँ सेटल डाउन कर रहा हूँ ठीक
form optimizations. I'm not sure what is SMO, ACOs, and colony optimizations. There are various meta-heuristic approaches available for the problems for which we are unable to use the existing solvers. And by the way, this kind of problems we faces in supply chain problems as well, where we are unable to solve this kind of problems. There we use the meta-heuristic approaches. There are a lot of research papers available for the meta-heuristic approaches, especially in the terms of PSO, ASO. I'm not sure about SMO. Spider monkey optimization. Thank you, Amber. Penguin optimization. Okay, there are many kind of meta-heuristic approaches available. So
Screen is visible now.
yes, yes. So I can send you some links of PSO and ASO and EPF. Yes. Okay. Now, so this is, can you go to previous one, Sachin? Yeah. Okay. Now let's move ahead. Inventory optimizations. Now, next one. Next slide, Sachin. Just want to provide here is we have the forecast demand from week 1 to week 6 as given 1000, 3000. In week 1 it is 1000, week 2 3000, week 3 2000, week 4 500, week 5 and week 6. The total entire demand is 8000. Now, as a manager, they want to build up an inventory plan. Inventory plan, it means that how much they need to order at week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. So there are two possible ways. Next one, Sachin. Yeah, this one. Okay. We have moved on like that. Okay, the case 1. There are two cases as I mentioned. In case 1, what the manager can do, they can order week 1 price. Week 1 demand is 1000. They can order 1000 units at week 1, 3000 units at week 2, 2000 at week 3, and so on. This is one strategy. The other strategy is case 2. Like they can order 8000 entirely in week 1, and then they can use it for the rest of the weeks. So can you say which one is the best, case 1 or case 2?
Case 1, definitely.
So in case 1, there are more number of orders, and every time there is a transportation cost. When you come to case 2, you order 8000 at once, you're reducing the transportation cost at every time. And then you are also using the, if you order the huge amount of quantity, you are also getting some quantity discount. That means case 2 is better. But the problem here is, no, go on that one, Sachin. The problem here is, we are facing in case 2, we are facing in high inventory cost because we are ordering 8000 at once. We are paying a huge amount of money for ordering 8000. We are blocking that amount of money, and we have to take care of 8000 units into our custody for next 6 months. In this way, we are managing a huge inventory cost here. Neither one nor two is beneficial. There is something beneficial, which is a combination of one and two, which you can come up with using proper analytics technique. So this is the conventional way. You can ask with any firm which they are not using analytics, they are not managing their supply chain properly. They are simply going either in case 1, either in case 2. But there is something other strategy that is more beneficial with this too. If the firm is using proper management and proper analytics. I hope the point is clear. Okay, the next one. So, the network transshipment routes. network transshipment routes. So we have the transshipment, like we have one manufacturing plant at location 1, we have DCs at location 3, 4, and 5, and we have the retailer with demand points 6, 7, 8. Now, the manufacturing capacity of the plant is 300 units, and the demand at 6, 7, 8 is 200, 100, and 300 units respectively. And there is a transportation cost. The number written on the link is cost. There is $16, $15, $10, $14. For example, from 1 to 2, it is $16 cost per unit. If it is from location 3 to location 6, it is $6 per unit, and like that. Now, the firms may need to suggest which route they should follow so that they should have a less transportation cost, so that they should satisfy the capacity constraint and they should meet all the demands. By the way, this is very, very small network. When there are thousands and thousands of points, it is very difficult to solve with this. Even with the normal coding, the computer can take years to solve such kind of problems. There is a smart way to do that. And if the person analyzes, or if the person utilizes analytics very smartly, they can come up with a good solution. Now, the next one. Next slide, Sachin. So, while using, by the way, this is also one of the problems from our client which we handled, and we come up with this structure. Okay, so this is how you manage the transshipment. Okay. Now the next slide. So this is the basic analytics part. Apart from this, there are the other technologies through which we can improve the supply chain better. I'm not going into details of all this. There are analytics, there are cloud computing, IoT, artificial intelligence, and there are many others with which, as a startup, in which you can focus and you can increase the supply chain performance or supply chain efficiency, and the firms will get benefit. So you can pick up one of these things. You can go on building how to improve this, how this technology helps in improving the supply chain. You can build one package, one software, and you can sell those softwares to the firms. I think we lost Sachin again. Hello.
Yeah, I guess we lost him again.
Okay. No problem. There are a few slides left. I think 2 to 3 slides more.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yes. Yeah, we are here. So I was saying that as a startup or as a entrepreneur, a lot of the startups are now focusing on how to build a package, for example, cloud computing package for increasing supply chain performance. And those packages they are selling to the firms. You can find a lot of supply chain consulting companies who are doing these jobs nowadays. Even my company in which I am working, they are also using these kind of things. Next slide, Sachin. Okay. So anyone really used all these fancy technologies for improving their supply chain? If this question has been asked on me 10 years back, I should say no. big, but now the competition is too much. Every firm want to reduce, want to provide best service to the customers. To be fiercely increasing competition, the firms has to incorporate technologies in their supply chain to increase their performance. Now I have a couple of examples. Sachin, next slide. One, the most technology-enabled company is Amazon. They are using all these things very extensively to increase their performance. The other examples, the Amazon is a company which exploits the machine learning algorithm, predictive analytics, artificial intelligence at a very large scale. Next slide, Sachin. The next one is DHL. DHL is a company related to transportation, and they are also utilizing analytics, and especially they are using optimization at very huge scales. Now, someone has asked a question about increasing energy. Now, DHL is a company. There are another transportation related company where their objective is not to increase the efficiency of the transportation. They are also equally thinking about how to reduce their CO2, how to reduce their CO2 efficiency, or how they can improve their, what I can say, that CO2 emission. So they are also planning in that way as well, so that they can increase the transportation service while minimizing their CO2 emission. So they are using the optimization at a very large scale, and they come up with this thing. Next one, Sachin. Hello. Yes. So in a summary, there are some research done by the research-based organization. They find that, so I'm focusing on the 2 and 3. The last mile delivery. The last mile delivery is something like when we order from the Amazon, we place the order and the delivery is there from the warehouse directly to your home. That is also one of the huge costs for the firm, for the Amazon, or for the retail chain like Walmart. The last mile delivery is from their warehouse to their retail stores. Now, what these firms are planning to do? These firms are planning to improve their last mile delivery by using the drone technologies and by using the other cost-efficient technologies. And it is estimated that within next 10 years, the drone deliveries will be an 82 billion opportunity for the logistics and SCM industry. Similarly, there is a research by Deloitte which says that 25% manufacturers have adopted the predictive analytics as of 2015, and it is going to be 70% between 2018 and 2020, but I foresee it is going to be much more than this, because analytics is something which is widely available today, and this from the next 5 years, it has a huge opportunity in the market. So that's all for my presentation. I have some more things to show you, but I think we are out of time. So I will stop my presentation here. I have one case study from the supply chain, but maybe we can meet some other time to go on the details of that. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
As we have begun with the Q&A section, here is the session code for the feedback form. The session code is Hackathon. I repeat, the session code is Hackathon in capital letters, HACKATHON. The link for the feedback form has been shared. We request participants to kindly post your queries in the chat section, or if possible, you can unmute yourself and then ask your queries. I request the host to share the slide on the screen with session code 2.
I would also like to share my email address. I'm just posting my email address on my chat box so that you can connect me if you have questions later on, or if you want to have a more detailed discussion.
Yeah, that will be great, sir.
Yeah. So it's himanshu.srivastav@sas.com.
Participants, any questions?
Yes, hello, Himanshu. Very good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
It is very good to have these type of things like business analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and drones at our service for optimizing the supply chain management, and eventually the benefit it will benefit the organizations which are using these technologies. Uh, can you somehow tell me what is the effect of using these technologies on a large scale to the whole mass? Because can it be sort of there will be job losses at a mass scale by using automated things which do not need manual labor or manual attention.
Umar, I'm not sure that I have understood your question fully, but what I understood, you are asking for how it can be done on a large scale, and how it is feasible to, to do automation on such a large scale. Is it the question?
No, sir. I mean, if it is used on the large scale, these things, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and drones like analytics, it will reduce the dependence on the manpower. So, will there be job losses on mass scale in the near future?
That's a very good question. The question is, if we use the artificial intelligence, the predictive modeling, the everything, where it will be impact the jobs. Correct?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yes. So the objective, the mission, vision, and the objective of any firm is the customer satisfaction, or it is vision, or it is mission, or it is objective. And the second thing is to increase its profitability. The company focuses on these two things. So on the second day, on some day you will become an entrepreneur. You will be focusing on these things, how to increase your profitability, how to attract more and more customers. Correct. For doing that, the company is finding if they automate the things, they can achieve these things very efficiently. Now, when I say they are automating, they are using robotics, they are using machine learning, they are using artificial intelligence, they are providing the better customer satisfaction, they are analyzing what the customer needs, what the customer requirements in a better way. While doing all these things, again requires a job. For example, creating an analytics for transportation optimization, or creating an inventory plan. That requires another jobs. Correct? So somewhere it is reducing the conventional job, but it is creating the market for and smart jobs. Right? So I don't see there is much effect on a job, but yes, to a certain extent it will, but not greatly. But there is a huge profit. Customer will get a good service. Customer will get a good product, and customer will get a right product at right time in right quantity.
Thank you very much.
Just to add one more point, I can see a lot of startup opportunities, a lot of entrepreneur opportunities from this kind of analytics. I have listed the famous, the transportation, inventory, the facility. This is one of the most targeted area of the supply chain firms. There are various other aspects of supply chains, like supply chain finance, supply chain intelligence, various aspects. So one can focus, one can pick the particular aspects and try to leverage those aspects and build up and come up with a concrete software, concrete analytics on that, and can sell those as a service to a big firms.
Yes, any other question, participant?
Many of the participants are requesting for the PPT. Himanshu?
PPT I have already forwarded to Sachin. And
So we will share with the participants.
yes, you can share with the participants.
Thank you.
I have some of my company data on that. Some I would not say confidential, but that should not be circulated. I will revise the PPT and send it to Sachin again, and then it would be.
Okay. Thank you.
Circulated. Yeah.
I guess that's all about the Q&A section. Hello? Any further questions, participants? If you have, you can post it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and tell your questions. I guess that's enough for today's Q&A section. So, thank you, Himanshu sir, for such a wonderful session and an informative one. We appreciate your efforts in making the session a two-way communication with the attendees and hope participants will implement these things that they have learned in today's session. Now, I request Ms. Amina Khan to present with the formal vote of thanks. Not Amina Khan, Miss Akshita Khan. Akshita Gupta.
Yes, a warm and grateful evening to our honorable speaker, coordinator, and everyone here. Myself, Akshita Gupta, PhD scholar of Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University, Katra. It is my great honor to present my vote of thanks on the behalf of GCT Jammu and SMU Katra to our honorable delegate Dr. Himanshu Srivastava sir for sparing their valuable time to grace today's evening session. Thank you, sir, for providing thought-provoking session on analytics in supply chain. This session is really impactful to motivate young minds to face challenges and resolve them efficiently. As sir has well explained that how to get higher profits by producing right products at right price. While giving such beautiful example, one of the good example quoted by sir is national semiconductor manufacturers. They have managed supply chain so well in less amount of time and in low price. Thank you sir for portraying so many examples. Further, I would like to extend my warm thanks to our coordinators, Dr. Sachin Kumar Gupta sir, Dr. Vijay Kumar Sharma sir, Dr. Bhavna Sharma ma'am, and Ms. Sheetal Galotra ma'am for managing this event so well and make it big success. Thank you to our audience as well for showing your activeness to valuable views of our honorable speaker, Dr. Himanshu Srivastava sir, and thank you sir for this interactive session. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you everyone for being there for such a long time and actually listening and communicating with the speaker. With this, we have come towards the end of the session. We'll be posting the link for the next session in our WhatsApp groups. Those who have not joined, kindly join the WhatsApp group. And we are also providing our participants with another 15 minutes so that they can submit their feedback form. Thank you all. Hope to see you again tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Himanshu. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone. Thank you
Precious time
everyone.
for us, that you have taken your precious time for us. Thank you so much.
Thanks Bhavna, thanks Sachin. I think you all enjoyed the session as I did. Thank you. It's very nice to interact with you.
Thank you, Himanshu sir.
And I hope I will see many entrepreneurs from this group in future.
Definitely. As most of our participants are students, so your session is really knowledgeable, and I hope the students have gained so much knowledge.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Himanshu. Thank you. I request all participants to fill the feedback form. The session code is hackathon. It is displayed on the screen.
तो मैं तो 9 बजे से चालू हो जाता हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को शेयर कोड करना है, ब्रॉडकास्टिंग करवाना है, टेक्निकल टीम मैनेजमेंट करना है, सब मेरे लिए काम है। अब आप देखो ना, लोग मतलब ना इनको मैं क्या बताऊँ, लोग बोलते हैं थोड़ा काम होता है, ये काम है क्या पड़ोगे ठीक है, चल ठीक है, ठीक, ओके ओके, शेयर करता हूँ मैं, टीए फॉर्म भर के भेजना। नहीं वैसे मैं मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ कि मैडम वो गलत है, कंपनी से रिलेटेड है, वो तो इनका क्या बोला था, मेरा कंपनी का नाम भी मत लेना क्योंकि कंपनी परमिट नहीं करती उसको कि प्रेजेंट करो। बिल्कुल ठीक है।